Oh, welcome back. So let's jump right into this. Here's who I work with. I work with business owners that are so frustrated. They're ready to throw in the towel. And let me ask you if this sounds like you. You're stressed. You don't have enough time in the day. You're working so many hours. You're doing the jobs of people that you've hired to do, or you're doing multiple jobs that you don't have the resources to do it. You have no personal life. And if I asked you, you'd probably laugh and go, what is a personal life? You're answering your emails, you're answering your text messages, you're answering your phone. After hours, you're taking it home. Your personal life is struggling. And then you're asking yourself, why did I get into business? Well, don't worry, 85% of all business owners are in your same spot, but there's hope and there's light at the end of this tunnel that we can get implemented for you today. And you can start enjoying life again of why you got into business. So ask yourself, why did you get into business? For wealth. I want to build wealth. I want to be happy, and I want to be healthy. That's it. That's why we got into business. Have our own time, do what we want to do, but somehow it went awry. So before I jump into this, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in coaching and consulting for 16 plus years. I've helped over 1,500 plus companies in my career go from stressed to, man, I wish I would have had you 10 years ago. Man, I wish I would have done this when I first got into business, all those type of things. But let me tell you, it's simple. Let's just get this implemented for you. And man, you're going to be on a great road no matter what the economy is doing. I grew up extremely poor. I was on food stamps when I was a kid. I stood in line with my mother, and she was ripping out the coupon book, the things in the coupon book, and paying for it. And my sisters left because they were embarrassed. I stood there and I thought to myself at the time, I don't want this in my life. I really don't. So anyway, I went off to the military. After my senior year in the Army, I spent some time in special ops, got out of there, put myself through school with student loans, got my master's in finance, and I really wish they would have taught me business instead of how to take a test. So anyway, got into the coaching and I had a couple businesses, sold those off, got into the coaching and consulting, and man, that's where I came alive. I love coaching and helping take business owners to that next step. It is so fun and remarkable. I can't tell you how fun it is. It's just like having fun in your business. You know, I go to my clients, I see them, they go, man, I'm stressed, I'm ready to throw, I just can't do this anymore. And then we just implement a few steps at a time, and they go, the weight of the world is lifted off of their shoulders. And I'm telling you, they are having fun again. They're re-energized and they're loving it. So stop wasting your time and get going. So let's dive into these steps. But I want to first think about this while we go through this. I want you to kind of write some of this stuff down because it's going to blow your mind when you write it down. Because you got to write it down so it becomes reality. Why do people fail on diets? Well, they don't want to jump on the scale because the scale is going to tell them whether they succeeded or failed. And in their mind, they know that's the moment of truth. So you got to write this stuff down and always keep it in your forefront. So when you go through this, just remember this. All of your great athletes and great people have mentors and coaches. The Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Phil Mickelsons, the Kobe Bryants, the LeBron James, hockey players, tennis players, they all have coaches. Why? It's to get them to the next level. It's to hold them accountable. It's to push them, to drive them. So if you want to be successful, get somebody in your life that'll push you and drive you because the rewards outweigh the cons on it. And I really don't see any cons on it. But anyway, let's jump into this. So write this down. I want you to write down, how do you get your work? How do you do your work? How do you get paid? And how do you keep score? That's the 4 fundamentals of business right there. Get work, do work, get paid, keep score. Pretty simple. But that kind of gets into some other things that I'm going to explain to you here in a minute. And when we talk about that, we want to talk about break even, massive impact on break even. So what is it? Where does your business break even? So where you got to understand, so write down break even and go, okay, what is my break even? What part of the month do I break even? And what part of the year do I break even? And then calculate that out, because that's going to drive your get work. That's your sales function. How much sales? I got to push my sales to do this. So then when you go, okay, so now I got to understand, what does it cost me an hour to run my business? 90% of business owners don't know that question. And it's shocking, but we're good at doing what we want to do, but we're not good at the business side of it. So, but if you know that, what does it cost me an hour to run my business? That drives my sales. Or let's say it costs you $200 an hour to run your business. Who is working on those $200 an hour tasks? Or are you working on those $20 an hour tasks? But if you're working on the $20 an hour task, somebody has to be working on that $200, because as business owners and managers, we are responsible for bringing in $200 an hour, or whatever our hourly rate is for that. The next thing you want to do is write down, how do I price my products? How do you price your products or your service? Do you price it with profit first, or do you price it with profit last? And when I talk about profit first and profit last is, if I want 10% profit, do I take 10% right off the top and then run my business on the other 90%? Or do I run my business on the above, and whatever I get left over, that's my profit? I'm shooting for 10%, but maybe at the end I'm only getting 6%. Where did it go? Something's out of skew. So you just want to start pricing for profit. Now, the next thing is, how do I communicate as a manager? How do I funnel my information down to my people, and how does it funnel back up to me? Am I open? Do I allow my employees to have input on where we go? That's very critical. And I will tell you that most businesses, just like any other relationship out there, number one problem, communication. And I'm at fault at that. I with my significant other, I tell her something, I think I know what I told her, and she says, you're wrong. And so we have to have that conversation of communication. So it kind of goes back down that way as well. One of the other things you got to do is get it out of your head is, I've always done it this way. Well, that is the definition of insanity. Continuing to do the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You've got to get out of that. Break out of your box, out of your comfort zone, and grow. Listen, revenue builds egos. Wealth builds a life, right? So wealth, profit builds a foundation, not revenue. So you want to do that. Now, how automated is your business? Ask yourself this. If you put down your org chart, write that down on your org chart, and you take your top player, which could be you or your right-hand person, if you took them out of the equation, what would it look like if they were gone? How would your business perform? Now, if your business would suffer a setback, or we wouldn't be able to perform, I'm here to tell you, you don't have a business, because nobody will buy a business that's dependent upon people. They buy businesses because they're dependent upon functions and procedures. I've seen it too many times where I've actually sat across from a couple. They were in their mid 60s. And I did an exit planning for them. And when we got through that exit planning, she had the big eyes. She goes, all right, when can we retire? I had to look at them and say, there's no way you're getting out of this business, because you didn't build the wealth that you should have when you could have. And now you don't have enough to get out of the business, and the business is there, and nobody will buy the business because it was them dependent. So make sure your business is systems dependent so it can run on autopilot. Okay? So These are just a few. I mean, we can drive right into all of this stuff, like what is our employee acquisition cost? What is our customer acquisition cost? How does our P&L and our balance sheet go together? So I'll tell you a little tidbit on this one. So let's say you're doing $1 million. We did $1 million in revenue last year, and we have $100,000 left over. But I get this from clients a lot. They go, well, where did this money go? I don't know where it went. I don't have $100,000. Well, you forgot that your debt service is not on your profit and loss. So you must pay your debts through the profit and loss on your balance sheet. Now, when you get into your break even, going back up to your break even, you have to consider what your debt service is, so that way you can add that onto your break even. And then you also have to add your profit onto break even. So maybe your break even or your hourly rate was $250 an hour. That's before debt. Now maybe it's $500 an hour. That's where businesses got caught in 2008, 9, and 10, is they weren't formulating that. And so you've got to formulate that. If this is resonating with you and you want to know how to implement these in your business, give me a call. I would love to jump on a call and go through that. If you get on a call with me, I'm going to guarantee you 3 things. One, I'm going to guarantee you I will never sell you a single thing in my entire existence with you, and no matter what that relationship is, I will never sell you. I shouldn't have to sell you, because if I have to sell you on you improving your business, you're not a client for me. 2, I will show you how you can increase your revenues by $100,000 and put a minimum of $25,000 profit to your bottom line, additional, without spending a single cent. The third thing I'll guarantee you is, if we do have a working relationship, I guarantee you my results. Period. End of story. I take all the risk if we work together. That's it. I do it because I'm so tired of hearing those companies out there go, oh, I'll do it, but I won't do it. I believe, I'm a military vet. I believe in honor, character, and integrity. And I think that this world has lost those 3 things upon more things, but that's a whole nother discussion. So I promise to you, I will give you a minimum, flat minimum of 2 times ROI, or it's free, period. So all you're having to do is, first, you're going to get $100,000 in profit additional and $25,000 additional, $100,000 in revenue, $100,000 or $25,000 in additional profit for free without spending a penny. Plus any working that we'll do will be a 2-to-1 ROI, but you have to qualify for that. Anyway, jump on a call with me. I do not work with business owners that are not serious about improving their time and improving their wealth and improving their life. It's just not where I want to be, and there, you just can't please everybody. I get it. A lot of people just like to be pissed off and angry. I don't want that in my life. I'm here to get you wealthier, healthier, and happier. So jump on a call with me. I'd love to have a conversation. And until then, have an amazing day. Help somebody today. It'll make you smile, and it's very rewarding. We'll see you soon.